So you're thinking about moving to Dallas, Texas, but you don't want to be in the city of Dallas necessarily. Maybe you're thinking that, you'd really prefer the safety and the better schools that are available in the suburbs, but you don't know which one to choose, right? Maybe you're looking at the map and it's just a bunch of names of places on a screen to you, right? But when I look at the map, listen, I was born and raised here, and on top of that, I've recently hit the streets and vlogged every single one of these suburbs. We're going to talk about all of them today, okay? And so I understand the connotations that are associated with each one of these places on a map to you. I understand them all at a very deep level. And so my goal today is to transfer that knowledge from my brain into yours, ladies and gentlemen. So stick around, because I have a feeling you're going to gain a lot of clarity on which suburbs might be the best fit for you. And we're getting into it right now. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you are interested in finding out if Dallas is right for you and eventually landing in the best neighborhood that fits your lifestyle, well, you're in the right place. So I invite you to subscribe down below. Make sure you tap the bell for notifications so that you can stay up to date on the current market here in Dallas, Texas. We drop new videos every single week. My name is Jimmy. I'm a local real estate agent, born and raised here, and we're getting tons of calls and emails every single day from people just like you who are ready to make that move here in Dallas, and we absolutely love it. So if you are thinking about buying or selling here in the Dallas area, you gotta reach out, right? Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, jump on our calendar. If you want to jump straight to a Zoom with us, hey, that's our favorite, but whatever is easiest for you, we've got your back on making a smooth move here in Dallas, Texas. So as I mentioned, we're gonna pull the curtain back on all the Dallas suburbs here today. Now, of course, there's a lot to know about each and every one of these, but the goal today is to stay high level, okay? We want to give you a taste, right? Give you enough of a taste to where if you're intrigued by one or 5 or 10 or whatever, then you can go check out the vlogs that we've done through the streets of all these suburbs, where we show you some different homes and some different price points. We show you some of the main attractions around the neighborhood as well. It's kind of like we're in Baskin Robbins right now. We've got unlimited tasting spoons. We got unlimited ice cream. You've got unlimited scoops, okay? And so, if you want a more detailed look at one of these suburbs, then you can go check out one of our other videos that we've done on that particular suburb, right? And the easiest way to do that, by the way, if you click on the Dallas, Texas living name down below, that'll take you to our main channel page, where you can use that search bar at the top of the page there to look up whatever it is that you're looking for. And if I don't have what you're looking for just yet, then shoot me a comment down below and let me know what it is that you're looking for. And hey, maybe let me know down in the comments below if you feel like it. Let me know what your favorite flavor of ice cream is. I'm a Rocky Road guy, so shout out to my Rocky Road people. But hey, if you're new here, welcome. We're glad that you're here. We like to have fun, but we also drop the knowledge here too. So with that being said, hey, grab your notepad, grab your favorite beverage maybe as well, and get comfortable, because we're going in today, all right? And so let's jump over to my computer, and I'll see you there. All right, so here's how we're going to do this, okay? We're going to start on the east side over here in Kaufman County, and then we'll work our way north, so through Heath, through Rockwall, little Wylie, through this Lovejoy area, which I'm surprised more people don't ask us about, honestly. We'll go through McKinney, little Melissa, little Anna, little Princeton, and then we'll come down through Allen, Plano, Richardson, of course. We'll touch on Garland, Rowlett, and then Frisco, of course. I know everybody wants to know about Frisco, so stay tuned. We'll get there. Prosper, got to talk about Prosper, Celina. I've even got some stories in Weston, Texas, so make sure you stay tuned for that. We'll touch Little Elm, Colony, Carrollton as well, Little Farmers Branch, Little Addison as well. Then we'll move through Irving, Grand Prairie, Arlington, through HEB, which is Hurst, Euless, Bedford, Little Keller, Little Southlake, Colleyville's right here. We'll touch on Colleyville as well. Grapevine, same thing. Coppell, Flower Mounds, Lewisville, Argyle's on the move, and Denton as well. And then we'll even finish up with a little Highland Park right here as well, because technically Highland Park, University Park, Park Cities, which is University Park and Highland Park, is its own municipality. So technically it's not Dallas, okay? So we'll touch on that. Even though it's basically in Dallas, it's not technically Dallas. So we'll talk a little bit about that, all right? So stay tuned for that. Now, I want to tell you a little story here of how I started researching for this video. So, and this is something I've been trying to do lately a little bit more of, is, put myself in y'all's shoes, right? Of, man, I'm looking at this map, and what if I didn't know anything about any of these, names on the screen, like I mentioned earlier, right? What would I want to know about all these names if I didn't know anything? And for me, it came down to, well, I would want to know a little bit about the prices, right? Because, the math has to work. Something's got to be in my budget, right? So you ain't going to be moving into Highland Park with a $300,000 budget, right? So, the math has to work. So let's talk a little bit about prices. We're going to talk about the schools. That's very important for families, right? We'll talk a little bit about, the people, what kind of people live there, what's the vibe. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll cover some of the main attractions around town as well. And then we'll touch on the job market a little bit too. Dallas has a really strong job market. And so I want to show you, that's where I want to start actually, is show you some of the main kind of hubs, main areas where there's a big concentration of, some main industries and everything, right? So, of course, downtown Dallas, right, obviously is going to be a main concentration of businesses and everything like that. But Frisco, you may or may not know, Frisco is projected to have more office space than downtown over the next 5 years, okay? Now, we'll see how, the pandemic threw a wrench into that plan right there. But again, Frisco is no joke. They are literally, I always say that, you know how it's DFW, right? Dallas Fort Worth. I think it's about to be DFWF here pretty soon. Frisco, like Prosper, is going to be known as a suburb of Frisco, not of Dallas, right? Like Frisco is going to be one of those cities here pretty soon, right? And so Frisco is growing like crazy, so that's going to be a major job market. Plano as well, so you have a lot of telecom. You have, Richardson. You have a lot of insurance in there, a lot of tech startups around this whole area right here. So those are going to be some major hubs that you'll want to pay attention to as well. And then you've got the medical district down here. So if you're in that world, that's going to be, just northwest of Dallas right there. You got, of course, Baylor over here, which is another big one. Let's see. Yeah, on the north side of 30. So yeah, somewhere in here, right around here is where Baylor is. And then you've got Medical City, which is a big one on the corner of 75 and 635. And really, along all of these highways, right? So you've got 75 here, you got the tollway, you got 35, you got 635, you got Bush, you got 121. Really on all of these highways, I'll say, I want to be conservative here. Let's say 80% along the highways is going to be, business, is going to be commercial, right? So that's pretty conservative, I'd say, right? Obviously, some are more concentrated than others, right? But really along the highways, you're going to have, something, okay? So just something to maybe consider there. But again, these are just some of the major hubs. Obviously, there are some smaller companies all over. And I know many of you are probably looking at Dallas because of the ability to work from home, right? And save on that state income tax, right? So you're just looking for a cool neighborhood that fits your lifestyle, right? And so just know that I know, and we're here to help you, guide you through that process, all right? So let's dive into it, okay? So let's talk about Forney first over here. So KC, hit me with the stats. We're going to show you the stats on every suburb that we talk about here, y'all. So population around 20,000 right now. So not too big, not too small either. Median home price just above 200,000. Average price per square foot of around $160 per square foot right now. The schools, they're not in the top 25, and honestly, that might just be because they're still developing. Forney is really going through some development right now, and when you look on great schools, there's kind of a mix, right, between you got some 5s, 6, 7s, and 8s, So you're kind of all over the place, at least right now. Median age is 30 years old, so it does skew a little bit younger as far as Dallas is concerned. But 85% of residents out in Forney own their homes. Okay, so I mean, it's really a place where people are going there to set some roots down and raise a family and things like that, right? And the cool part about Forney is its proximity, right? So you're only 25 minutes away from Dallas right here, right? And so now let's talk about commuting a little bit. So obviously in the morning, right, morning rush hour, it's going to be a little bit more traffic going into Dallas, right, than going out, right? Because everybody, obviously Dallas is the main hub, and then of course in the afternoon that'll flip flop, right? So coming out in the afternoon is going to be a little bit heavy. But I will say this, y'all. I mean, the traffic in Dallas is, it's really. I know a lot of people love to complain about the traffic in Dallas, but it's really not that bad. Especially, when you compare it to, some other places, right? I mean, in Dallas, I always feel like you're at least moving, right? And for if you're like me and you've been here for a while and all the side streets and little tricks on the highways to get around accidents and things like that, then that obviously helps as well. And if you don't know about the Waze app, WAZE, then you definitely want to download that on your phone like yesterday, okay? So, but that, I'll tell you this too, coming from this east side, going into Dallas, especially in the morning, right? So, you've got the sun, rising over here. Let's draw a little sun, okay? We'll have a little fun here. So you got the sun over here. When in the morning, I tell you what, and this entrance into downtown Dallas right here is one of the best entrances as far as views of the skyline. I mean, you guys probably know, we have one of the best skylines in the world, right? And so, if not the best, I might be a little bit biased in saying that, but it really is beautiful though. And so if you're coming from this side and going in, the sun's going to be behind you. So you're not going to have to worry about, do I play that game with the fold down, shield in your car, have the sunglasses on, I can't really see anything. So I'm like moving my head, you're not having to play that game in the morning. Whereas, you might, if you're coming over here from Grand Prairie and going in like that, right? So, and then same thing in the afternoon, right? The sun will be behind you again when you leave, right? So, definitely a perk of being on the east side if you are working in Dallas, of course. But listen, Kaufman County, here's what you got to know is Kaufman County it's the third fastest growing county in the country. Okay, say that 5 times fast. But and Forney is ranked the best city within Kaufman County. Okay, so you've got a lot to like about Forney. There's a lot of new construction, right? So especially, let me get out of this. So especially up here on the north side of 80, right here, there's going to be a lot of new construction. You've got the Devonshire neighborhood up here that's pretty popular, and then on the south side you have Main Street. You have that old historic district. You got the Forney High School down there. This park, again, you have to watch the vlog if you want to check out some of these places live and in the flesh a little bit, right? But yeah, this north side of Forney is there's a lot of new construction being built out there. So that's kind of, Forney is really being developed, and there's a lot of land out there as well. So if you're looking for some acreage, you can definitely find some of that out in Forney as well. It's a little bit country, right? So it's still kind of got that small town feel to it, a little bit of that country feel to it out there. But that's kind of what Forney is all about. But I will say, going back to Kaufman County, the reason why, so just real quick, Frisco is what, like 35 minutes away or so, and Forney's only 25. Now like Prosper is being developed, Celina's just shy of an hour away, right? And so it's like, well, why are people not going this way? Why why is everything going this way and not this way, right? And so, you know, you guys know I like to keep it real with you guys, okay? So here's kind of a brief history lesson, okay, on Dallas. Before the oil boom hit, you know, Oak Cliff down here was the neighborhood in Dallas, okay? And then Highland Park became what it is. And then, you know, Preston Hollow, and then, you know, North Dallas and far North Dallas, and then Plano right here. So I remember when I was growing up, I mean, it seemed like the thing in Dallas was you worked downtown and then you got your house in Plano. That was like the big goal that everybody had, right? And so Plano was like that big, suburb that everybody wanted to get into, right? And so it was just kind of a natural progression for things to move north. And all of these neighborhoods really in here are pretty nice, right? You can't really say the same thing about going this way, right? Going it through Mesquite. You know, it's a little bit, it's not the same as driving, you know, this way as you would. So I think that's a little bit of the hesitation going out this way. Now, I will say this. I do think that Mesquite will see a lot of, you know, like if you're an investor, I would look into Mesquite because listen, we're everything is getting better, right? And so Mesquite is one of those areas that I think you're going to see a good transition and transformation into. There's going to be a lot of investment opportunities in Mesquite over the next decade or 2 decades here. I really believe that. And so, so just a little brief history lesson. I'll throw Sunnyvale into kind of the same boat as Forney. But the thing with Sunnyvale, and they are very, very adamant about, they have absolutely no desire to be a big suburb. Sunnyvale is, you're going to have some acreage out there, and, they like to keep it that small town country feel out there in Sunnyvale. And Sunnyvale, if you watch the vlog, the top listing in Sunnyvale is maybe the coolest house I've ever seen, okay? So make sure you check that out, all right? But let's keep it moving. So let's talk about Rockwall. I'm going to talk about Rockwall and Heath. They're kind of in the same boat right here. But let's see the stats on these here. I will say this first is you've got some of the best sunsets in all of Dallas coming in Rockwall right here. And so, obviously the sun goes like this and sets over here, right? So we'll draw another sun on this side. So, you've got this lake, of course, right here. And what's cool about Rockwall is they have a harbor district right there. And so, man, like you can have dinner out there on the harbor district, and you can catch that sunset coming off of the lake. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful out there. Talking about the harbor district, or we gotta talk. Let me get you the stats here first. So, population around 45,000 right now. Median home price around 260,000. $174 a square foot is the average. Schools, it was ranked the number 14th best school district in the DFW area. Really good athletics out there in Rockwall as well. I mean, they've had some football teams. I think they won state a couple times recently. So they've got some really good athletic programs out there. Median age is 38, so obviously a little bit older than Forney, but and I'd say the average. You'll see the averages, but 38. So you've got a little bit of. You do have that younger crowd, but you also have the crowd that's been there for a long time as well, because Rockwall has seen some growth over the last few decades here as well. And 76% of residents own their homes in Rockwall. So again, Rockwall is really a place where people come, they set some roots down and raise the family. It's a great neighborhood to do that. Okay, and still, again, you're only 25 minutes away from Dallas, being in Rockwall. And I'll tell you this, I mean, this drive across 30 across Lake Ray Hubbard right here, that's a really cool drive, right? So if you're commuting into downtown, I mean, that's a cool little beginning to your commute, and then a finish to your commute. Getting that drive on 30 And people ask me about traffic on this stretch right here. Listen, it's 3 lanes wide, so you're never really 4 actually in some places. So you're never really getting stuck out here. Okay, so. But yeah, so that's Rockwall. I mentioned the Harbor District, so that's all right in here. You can actually, if you get a boat, if you're interested in having that kind of lifestyle, if you have your boat, you can literally pull up. Let's see if I can, if it shows the harbor. Yeah, so it's all up in here. So they literally have, well, they're not showing the harbor in here. But, so they have spots where you can, park your boat, and you can literally get off the dock, come up in here into Brass Tap or Rodeo Go, Gloria's right here. You can come up here, eat, and then get back on the boat and go home. I mean, how cool is that? That's a really cool feature to Rockwall right there. Now, of course, we got to mention the Sapphire Bay Resort that is coming. This is going to be an absolute gem of a spot out here right on this peninsula right here. They literally just kind of are leveling out all the ground right now, but this is why you subscribe to the channel. This is, we keep you updated on, what the updates of when is Sapphire Bay, what's it starting to look like, when is it gonna, take form and everything like that. So just another reason to subscribe to the channel here. But yeah, listen, it's gonna be paradise in here. I mean, you're gonna have a lot of shopping, 5-star hotels, some white sandy beaches out here. You'll have some apartments over here too. You have some really cool apartments over here at Bayside on this side as well. Technically Rockwall, right? So, or I'm sorry, Rowlett over here. Now sometimes I mix up Rowlett and Rockwall. That's kind of just a natural thing. They both start with R-O, and it's just kind of one of those things. But Rockwall is on that side, Rowlett's on this side. A little bit different, but they share many of the same features. Obviously, bordering the lake right here, right? So let's see. Oh, one thing about Rockwall too is one of the things that I don't like about Dallas is we don't have mountains, we don't have the ocean, which I normally I would like to have some of that in my daily everyday life, right? But we don't have that. But what we do have are the lakes, right? And so the cool part about Rockwall is you are going to get a little bit of that elevation, a little bit of that up and down, right? And so that's one thing that you don't see a whole lot of in Dallas. You will have some roads that'll go like this, whereas almost everywhere else in Dallas it's just flat, right? So that's another cool feature about Rockwall. And actually, funny story, I was out there. So before I started this YouTube channel, I was doing videos for homes, right? And so I had one out in Rockwall, and a beautiful neighborhood. It was actually in Heath, right? And so it was one of these like right on the right out here, right on the lake. And I was driving. I was actually leaving, and I saw my buddy who I played tennis with all the way over here in Addison. But I knew he lived out here, but I'd never been to his house or anything. And I'm driving away, I'm leaving that home, and I see him out there. And that was just a funny place to run into somebody. He was walking both of his dogs and everything. His dogs are super old, and it was really cute. But I mean, that view though, from the reason I tell you this is that view from like, there was kind of one level of homes up here, and then there was probably at least a 200 foot drop. So you really had some elevation. So you had homes right here that you could look out to the lake, and the homes on the lower part could also look out to the lake. I mean, it was a really cool feel to that neighborhood. And so that's kind of a little bit of Rockwall for you. Let's see what else I got. So yeah, the reason why it's called Rockwall, by the way, is there's actually a rock wall that is underneath the city. And so there's a lot of speculation of a lot of controversy around, how it got there. Some are saying it was a natural formation. Some are saying, aliens might have been involved. So if you move to Rockwall, that can be a good, conversation starter with your new neighbors, right? To see what they think about the Rockwall wall underneath the city. Okay, so just a little tidbit on Rockwall there. All right, but let's move it on to Wylie. So KC, hit me with the stats. So we got a population of around 50,000, median home price 230,000, price per square foot around 180. Schools, this is the 11th best school district in DFW, and a pretty strong athletic program out there too. They got a big old football stadium out there. Median age is 33, so it does skew a little bit younger, so you got your younger crowd, but I know there are a few older folks out there as well who enjoy that kind of different lifestyle out there. You got a little bit more space out here in Wylie. Not so much like Frisco. You're a little bit tighter, right? And so Wylie out here in this area, and we'll talk about Lovejoy here in a second, you're going to have a little bit more bigger lots and things like that are going to be available out here. So and you're still, you're 35 minutes away. It's a little bit awkward because this is 78. This is it's technically a highway, but you've got stoplights along 78 right here, and then you hit Bush, but you can't really go straight to Dallas. 78 continues through right here, but it's not a highway. This is all stoplights right here, so you'd have to maybe come up to 75 and get down, or come down to 30 and get in that way, right? So it's just kind of, you're in an awkward spot if you want to go to Dallas, but it really is a great option, a great suburb for you right there in Wylie, okay? Now let's talk about the Lovejoy area. So I mentioned, I'm surprised that more people don't ask us about this Lovejoy area, which is going to include Parker, Murphy, and Lucas right here. So all of this is, so Lovejoy, the schools, hit me with the stats. So the schools this is the 4th best school district in all of DFW right here. And a lot of people don't know that, right? Ranked above Frisco, actually, ranked above Allen, ranked above Plano, right? So a lot of people don't know that. And, you've got some bigger lots still out here as well. Now, some people are like, well, when you say bigger lots, are you talking about, I can't even see my neighbors ever, or is it... Well, no. You have, your quarter-acre lots out here, right? And, maybe some, when you step up the price point a little bit, you've got maybe a home in between you and your neighbor right there. So you got a little bit more space, right? But, it's you can find a little bit of everything out here in this Lovejoy area. And so population, 35,000. So it's very... the opposite of dense. What would the opposite of dense be? It's very wide open, right? And so median home price is $500,000, which the land is what makes that number, is what makes up that number, what makes it so high, right? Compared to some of the others, right? You're really you've got a lot of big pieces of land out there that kind of skew that a little bit higher. Price per square foot $230, same thing. You've got a lot more land out there in these areas, Lucas, Parker, and Murphy. Average age or median age of 38, so it does skew a little bit older. You've got your families who have been out there for a long time, but you do have some younger people starting to move out there. There's some new development happening out here, and so the younger crowd is starting to take advantage of those opportunities. So that's kind of what's going on in this area. A lot of people are looking, of course, at Plano and Allen and McKinney and Fairview, and it's like, okay, well, if we can't get there, well, maybe we can just go a little bit east, 5 or 10 minutes east, and get into a better school district and have a little bit more space, right? That's kind of what that area is all about, okay? You also have South Fork Ranch over here. Let's see, where is it? South Fork Ranch right here. So if you know about the show Dallas, then this is where that was filmed. And I was actually out there when I shot that vlog. I was out there petting the horses and doing all that sort of thing, right? So you can do a little bit of that if you're out there, okay? All right, let's talk about McKinney next. So McKinney, let's hit the stats. So we got a population 200,000. So we're getting a little bit bigger now. Okay, median home price around 300,000. Price per square foot just shy of $200 a square foot. Schools are, this is the 17th best school district in DFW is where it ranked. You got some great athletics out here as well. So if that's important to you, then McKinney is definitely a great option. Median age of 35. So, I mean, again, you got a little bit younger, a little bit older, a little bit of everything in between out here in McKinney. And 67% of residents own their homes in McKinney. So obviously that's a little bit lower. You are going to have some apartments out in McKinney. So McKinney is one of those areas where, you know, that younger crowd is coming. You know, you do have a strong job market in McKinney. So you got some people, you know, just getting their careers off the ground and everything, who are basing themselves out of McKinney right there. So, you know, not a lot of riffraff or anything like that going on. It's pretty safe neighborhood out there, of course, in McKinney. Of course, a lot of people are looking at it. Pretty competitive market right now, real estate market. So, you know, just be ready for that. We can have a more in-depth conversation about that when we cross that bridge. But you're going to be about 35 minutes away from downtown Dallas right here. And so, you know, once you're in McKinney, I feel like you do kind of stay in McKinney a little bit. You know, you've got your outlet malls right here. You got the historic district, historic downtown. This is a really cool area. This might be the coolest historic downtown in all of Dallas, right there is in McKinney. Actually, when I was out there, I saw a police. It was a police woman actually on a horse out there in the historic downtown. So you got to watch the vlog if you want to see that one. Yeah, let's see. You've got you've got this whole historic district actually too. So you got Virginia, Louisiana. These streets right here, and really all of these in here too. You have some historic homes in here too, and so we're talking, you know, homes that are 100 years old, and some that are a little bit more than 100 years old, right? And so, you know, if you're looking for that charm, you know, you can find some of that out there in McKinney as well. But if you're looking for some of that new construction, right, you know, that, you know, Melissa is starting to, you know, blow up a little bit. Anna, a little bit same thing. Princeton out here as well. New Hope, you know, it's kind of, you know, these are starting to become kind of like how Prosper and Celina are to Frisco. You know, same thing with Melissa, Anna, Princeton. Those in relationship to McKinney, that's kind of how that's working out. Okay, yeah, I've spent some time in Weston up here as well. So I had a mentor up here for a little bit. I would go up there. I'll tell you, Weston is a different kind of living. Okay, so Weston is kind of a place where you tell your wife, you know, hey honey, I'm going to town. Do you need anything? Right? So that's kind of Weston. But I will say it's very tranquil. It's very peaceful out here. You know, this is where, you know, you can't really see your neighbors, right? You don't really interact with your neighbors because you're just so far apart, right? Out here in Weston. But it makes for some beautiful starry nights at night. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful out there. So different style out there in Weston, Texas. All right. But let's keep it moving. Let's talk about Allen now. So Allen, hit me with the stats. You got population of 100,000, so a little bit smaller now. Median home price is still around 300,000. Price per square foot, a little bit cheaper than McKinney by about $10. So yeah, Allen's going to be a little bit less. I think the thing with Allen is, so the schools, it's ranked the 8th best in DFW, but it all feeds into one high school, right? It's a big high school, right? Which some people like, so their kids can stay with their friends all the way up, but some people don't like that, right? So that's what plays into that pricing right there a little bit. Great for athletes as well. Kyler Murray, who's tearing it up in the NFL right now. He was the quarterback at Allen High School. They've got that big high school stadium right here. Yeah, Eagle Stadium right here. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a college stadium in here. I mean, it's absolutely massive right there. So if you want to follow in the footsteps of Kyler Murray, then maybe Allen. If you have a quarterback, then Allen might be a good choice for you right here. But median age is 35. I know a lot of younger people are looking into Allen and moving to Allen. But you do have, of course, your older folks as well, right? And 75% of residents own their homes here. So again, it's one of those where you're really setting some roots down and raising the family, obviously with some great schools out here, okay? And obviously a little bit closer than McKinney, so only 30 minutes into downtown right there. And then I will show you this Waters Creek area. Oops, where is it? Off of 75 and Bethany, yeah, right here. So this whole Waters Creek area, I show you that in the vlog. This is a really cool place where you've got some shopping, got some restaurants, some apartments above, sort of thing. And so, yeah, really cool area right there. And then the outlets as well. So that outlet mall, yeah, I show you that as well in the vlog. So make sure you check that out. Okay. Now Plano. Let's talk about Plano. So Plano is Plano is huge. Okay. So Plano, let me just show. Plano takes up you're talking all the way over here. Into a little bit of that. And then all the way up here too. And then I think it's like that is what Plano. It's absolutely huge. That kind of looks like Australia a little bit, almost. Oh, not really, but kind of. But yeah, Plano is absolutely massive. You got almost 300,000 people in Plano. Median home price of $360,000. Price per square foot, $195. Schools, 10th best school district in DFW. So you've got some really strong schools in Plano, especially on the west side. I'll talk about that in a moment. Average age or median age of 39. So it is a little bit older, right? So again, back to that story where, back in the day it was, work in Dallas and everybody lives in Plano. So that generation has grown up and obviously stayed in Plano, but you do have your new influx of younger people who are coming in there. So, your neighbors, you'll have a mix of neighbors, right? Depending on obviously the street that you end up on, right? But you're going to have a little bit of mix, certainly in Plano, okay? And yeah, so on the east side, so this is how Plano operates, right? So you have the east side of Plano over here, you have the central, and then you have Plano West. So that's how the three high schools, senior highs, are split up. So you got the west side, Plano Senior, and then the east side. The east side is the oldest side, so this is where the original downtown is, off of 14th Street. I was down here the other day, and had to go through here to do something, run an errand, and they've got like some brick roads going through here. It's really a cool look over here on the east side of Plano. And then on the other extreme, on the west side of Plano, you have one of the most premier, one of the most premier neighborhoods in all of Dallas and Fort Worth, right? So Willow Bend. If you tell people, yeah, hey, I live in Willow Bend, people know what that means. Okay, so just so you're aware of that. So west. Now, obviously, you're going to be closer to the tollway on this side. So anytime you're closer to the tollway, it's going to be a little bit more pricey. And so, yeah, that west side of Plano is going to be a little bit, obviously a little bit more pricey. And then the central part of Plano is going to be a little bit of a blend between, the older side and then the, kind of newer, swankier west side over here. Okay. So that's kind of how Plano operates. Let's see. Yeah, not much new construction in Plano. It's pretty well established at this point. Every now and then you'll find, a home that was torn down or is being torn down and, building something new back up. But that's kind of the extent of the new construction in Plano. Richardson, I would throw Richardson a little bit into the same boat as Plano, just a little bit more established, right? And it doesn't really have a super swanky side like you do at Willow Bend, right? So Richardson is kind of that a little bit in the same boat as Plano right there. And then, of course, up here you have Legacy West and Shops at Legacy. So this is a big hub that's super popular for not only people in Plano, but also people in Frisco, okay? So, but before we get into Frisco, y'all, hey, if you are enjoying and finding value from what we're talking about so far, hey, please do me a favor and tap that like button down below. It would mean the world to us if you did that. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribed as well. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss the next video that we drop, okay? So make sure you tap the bell for notifications while you're down there. But let's get into Frisco, all right? So population of around 200,000 right now. Median home price of 400,000. Frisco is pretty competitive. You know, it's getting a lot of media coverage and everything like that. You know, topping, you know, best suburbs to live in the country type of lists and things like that. So a lot of attention on Frisco. Price per square foot, average just over $200 a square foot. Fifth best school district in DFW. So you've got some really great schools all the way around. The differentiator in Frisco is they have a lot. They have like 11 different high schools, I believe. And so, yeah, I think it's 11. And so what they do, and this is on purpose, they want to keep the classroom sizes small. Okay. So if you really want to have your kid go through a school that, you know, is, you know, where they're going to get that, you know, attention from the teacher, you know, that's kind of what is helping Frisco become as popular as it is, right? Really good athletics out in Frisco as well. Of course, you know, you got the Ford Center out here. This is where, you know, Jerry decided to build the new Cowboys headquarters. So you got, you also have over here Dr. Pepper. Where's Dr. Pepper? It's off of Warren, I thought. Dr. Pepper Center. Well, you got Rough Riders down here, which is the AA, not AAA. I'm pretty sure it's AA for the Rangers. And then Dr. Pepper Center, I swear it's right here. But anyway, that's where the Dallas Stars practice. So you have a lot of, and then you have FC Dallas up here, right? So you got, that's the pro soccer team up here. So you have a lot of, pro athletes up here, or ex-pros who live in Frisco, who are providing some of that, you know, private lessons and things like that, right? So, you know, Frisco is, you know, you'll see a lot of Frisco teams making deep runs in state playoffs and things like that. So yeah, definitely a great athletic, definitely a great suburb to be an athlete, that's for sure. Median age of 36. You definitely have some of that younger crowd out there in Frisco. And then, yeah, I mean, you have, listen, Frisco is only really, I mean, Stonebriar is what started it when they finished the Stonebriar Mall in the early 2000s, or I think it was the year 2000, right? So Frisco is really kind of only about 20 years old, right? So, you know, I mean, you have people who obviously moved there, you know, 20 years ago who have, you know, aged into that, right? But Frisco has become a very popular spot for, you know, that next generation to come through and, you know, establish themselves up there, right? So you'll find a little bit of blend, of course, in Plano. 72% of residents own their homes in Frisco. So, you know, again, if it's not obvious, definitely a suburb where, you know, people are, you know, setting some roots down, raising the family, going through the good schools and all that jazz, right? So, yeah, you have a lot to do in Frisco, right? So I mentioned all the different sports teams. I mean, you've got you know, some great restaurants. J. Theodore's popping out. You know, this is a great brunch spot. So if you're looking for a good brunch spot, this is in the Starwood area, Star District. So, you know, you've got that. You've got right around the Ford Center. You've got some restaurants and everything in here. So we've met some clients in there before. And so obviously you got Stonebriar. You got a lot of golf courses. You got Stonebriar. You got Plantation over here. You got all sorts of stuff. They're about to build the PGA headquarters up in here, right? So you got some really good neighborhoods up in here, okay? So a lot to do. I have some friends in Frisco. They're actually in Little Elm, which, just touching on Little Elm just briefly, Little Elm is kind of an extension of Frisco in a way. So there's a lot of, overlap between, if you live in Little Elm, you're going to be in Frisco schools and things like that. But one of my buddies in Little Elm asked me, when are you going to make the move out to the suburbs? And I said, not yet, man, not yet. I'm not there yet. Okay. So I like being, where I'm at in the heart of Dallas, in the central. I like to be centrally located, right? So I'm a little bit more south over there in kind of that North Dallas area, right? So that's where I like to be. So I can go up to you if I want to, or I can go down to downtown if I want to, right? So that's what I like. But anyway, one of the cool things so Frisco has a lot of master planned communities, of course. So they really, they've really built it over the last 20 years. I mean, this was all farmland 20 years ago, right? And they even keep some of the plots of land along the tollway. They keep it as farmland, so you can kind of see, they can keep a little bit of the history out there as you drive along the tollway out there, which is a cool sight to see. But master plan communities, you're gonna have. I mean, they bury a lot of the power lines, so you're not having that eyesore. Looking at, driving down the roads and everything. So I like that. One of the cons of Frisco, though, that I've heard from clients where we've gone in and looked, is it can seem a little bit cookie cutter, some of the neighborhoods in Frisco. So, that's a personal preference, obviously. So, that's just one thing to kind of keep in mind when you're looking at Frisco right there. Okay. So, so I mentioned, Prosper a little bit earlier. So, Prosper is really seeing some development, a major development right now. The problem is the tollway hasn't been completed right here yet. Okay, so that's slated to be completed in 2023. So still a couple years to go here. And my sister is a civil engineer. She's not working on that project. She actually did some work on Clyde Warren Park, which is downtown, like that main park in downtown Dallas. So shout out to my sister, but she said, yeah, 2023 seems about right for that. So, we'll see. Again, we had a little a major event around the world that put a little dent into some plans. So we'll see what happens. But let's hit some of the stats here. So you got a population right now around 25,000. Median home price at $360,000. Price per square foot around $200 a square foot. Ninth best school district in DFW. Really strong athletes out here as well. So of course, those pros in Frisco, they're serving Prosper as well. And so you've got some solid athletic programs out there in Prosper. Median age is 34, so it's a little bit younger, right? So people who can't get into Frisco, like people who are looking now to get into Frisco, say, it's tougher to get into Frisco. So a lot of people are like, well, what about Prosper? Could I get into Prosper and be close, right? And so, you're seeing a lot of that. So a lot of younger people out in Prosper right now. 86% of people own their homes. So yeah, Prosper is a place where, you're really setting some roots, because you're kind of far away from Dallas, honestly. You're 40 minutes away from downtown when you're up here in Prosper, okay? So, but like I mentioned earlier, I mean, Frisco is going to kind of serve as, your downtown, right? Downtown Frisco will be kind of your downtown if you're Prosper, right? So that's kind of how that works. Again, tollway complete in 2023. So your sans the tollway right now. So that means, without the tollway, that's my classical education coming out. Shout out to my 8th grade Latin teacher, Mr. Gussis, where I learned that word. But my sister I mentioned earlier too. She's in Chicago, and I love Chicago. I wish we had a train system like they do here in Dallas, but I would love to know where you guys are coming from as well. So, hey, drop me a comment down below. Let me know where you're watching from, especially if you're out of the country. I think it's so cool that we have people outside of the states that are watching our videos. And yeah, it's pretty crazy how powerful the internet is out here, right? So, one thing we got to mention about Prosper is the Windsong Ranch. This is where the Crystal Lagoon is. So if you watch the vlog, you're definitely going to see that. Yeah, Windsong Ranch right over here to the west of the tollway over here. That's where that Crystal Lagoon is that you might have seen. So if you get into that neighborhood, obviously that's a great neighborhood. Funny story about that one. When I went to go shoot that, there's a little maybe 7-year-old girl at the gate to the Crystal Lagoon, because you have to be a resident to get in there. And I told the 7-year-old, I was like, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I just want to, shoot a quick little video in here. Is that okay? She said, no, you have to be a resident. And so, luckily there was a, teenage, boy just behind her. And he was like, yeah, you're cool, bro. Yeah, come on in. And so, hey, shout out to the future boss lady of who that 7-year-old was. That was awesome. That was a great little story right there. But anyway, so that's Prosper. So Celina, again, is kind of seeing a lot of that, spillover from Frisco and Prosper. Celina, listen, let's get the stats on Celina. So Celina population is 30,000 right now. Median home price, $320. Average price square foot around 190 right now. You got some really great schools. You got some, great schools. Rate some as some 8s and some 9s up in Celina. So you got some great schools all the way around. Median age of 36. So again, I mean, it's one of those. You have some people in Celina who have been there forever, but you also have that newer crowd who is, got their eye on Celina and looking at, hey, like this could work for us, right? So. That's kind of what Celina is all about. 81% of residents own their homes out here. The one downside is, yeah, you're nowhere close to downtown. I mean, you're an hour away, right? So you're probably never going to downtown Dallas if you're up in Celina. Is the real truth right there. Okay, so but the cool part about Celina is the projected population build out in Celina is north of 350,000 people. Okay, so think about that. You're only at 30,000 right now, so it can and probably will grow 10 times over the next couple of decades. Okay, so yeah, just you heard it here first. So when you see Celina in 10 years, you're gonna be like, damn, I knew that was gonna happen, right? So that's where Celina is. Little Elm, I touched a little bit on that. You can find some lakefront properties in Little Elm too, and so that's a cool part about Little Elm. Little Elm's a little bit younger, median age of 33. 77% of residents own their homes out there, and so that's what Little Elm's all about. The Colony, a little bit the same. You can find some lakefront properties out here as well. Median age of 34, but 62% of residents own their home in the Colony. So the Colony is going to host quite a few apartments, right? And it's going to be a lot of that younger crowd that's really starting to get their career off the ground with easy access to Frisco, and Plano over here, right? That's kind of a hub for that kind of crowd. But when you're into the actual neighborhoods and some homes and everything, you'll find mid-30s type of crowd, maybe a little bit older. That's kind of who's in the Colony. Okay. Also, I've played a lot of soccer games out here, right here, 5-star. Yep. So 5-star, you got that, and then you also have Nebraska Furniture Mart, which is like where is it? I thought it was on this side. It's not showing it to me. Here, yeah, Lava Cantina is a great spot, great bar. They do some concerts there sometimes. I've been to a couple concerts over there. Why is it not showing me Nebraska Furniture Mart? Anyway, there it is. Boom, right there. So yeah, so this is like the biggest furniture store maybe in the country. I mean, it's like 10 football fields all together. I mean, it's absolutely massive. So if you're not bringing your furniture down, you'll just hop over to Nebraska Furniture Mart and off you go. You can kit out your living room, your bedroom, all your rooms out there at Nebraska Furniture Mart right there. Okay, Top Golf right here as well. Very important. To have some fun out there too. So you also have not Hurricane Harbor. What's the name of the? It's right here by Hawaiian Falls. So you got a little water park out there too. So anyway, let's come down here to Carrollton. So Carrollton, let's hit the stats. 130 population, median home price $240, 190 average square foot, 36 median age. So again, I mean, you're gonna have Carrollton is it will skew a little bit older than say Frisco or Colony or Little Elm, places like that. And so you're gonna have Carrollton's a lot more established, right? So Carrollton's kind of on the same level as Plano and Richardson. There's a lot of similarities between Richardson and Carrollton. Okay, so you're only 25 minutes away from downtown right here. But so 59% of residents own their homes in Carrollton. You do have a lot of apartments in here. Carrollton's pretty diverse as well. You do have the schools are all over the place, right? So it's really going to depend on, which school you want to go to or look at. It's literally like you have some 4s in Carrollton, but you have some 9s as well, right? So it's all over the place over there in Carrollton, okay? The overall vibe, there's nothing really super special, I'd say, about Carrollton, but it's very affordable and it's in a great location, right? Same with Richardson, right? So, you're kind of right here in the middle. This is kind of my stomping grounds right here. I used to be all up in here growing up. This is all where I was. A little bit of Plano. Frisco wasn't a thing when I was growing up, so I couldn't really go up there, but I have now in my adult life, but this is all where I was growing up, okay? And so, Carrollton, I've played a lot of baseball games in Carrollton. I've just been all over, right? So, Carrollton's just, like I said, nothing super special about it, but super affordable, great location in Carrollton. Same thing with Farmers Branch and Addison. Addison, actually, there's a stretch right here off of Beltline so this stretch right here is at one point at least, it might still had the most restaurants per square mile in the country right here. So if you work right around here, then you'll have a gazillion options for your lunch break, okay? So that's always a good thing right there, okay? Now I will say, let's touch on Northwest Dallas here real quick. I've only lost one deal in my entire life, and it was in Northwest Dallas, okay? So, the reason it was because these homes in here, we're not talking about Sherlock Holmes right now. We're talking about homes. So homes in here are a little bit older, okay? And so we got the inspection back and it was brutal, and there was no way to justify the price, and the seller wouldn't come down. It was just a bad situation. So that was the only one that I've ever lost in my entire life. We have a negotiation strategy. We call it the King Ranch move. And so, we pride ourselves on having a very, very high offer to acceptance ratio. Okay. So basically, if you work with us, if you find a home that you like, odds are we're going to get it for you. Okay. So, I'll just leave it at that. All right. Now let's jump over here to Irving, okay? So Irving is, let's get the stats going. So you've got population 240, median home price 180, price per square foot 185, median age of 32. So you got a good mix in here, but only 37% of residents own their homes in Irving. So the problem with Irving is, it's very diverse, right? So you have the schools are all over the place. It's kind of like in Irving, the more north you are, the better. Okay, so once you start getting like south of 183 in here, you got some rougher areas down here in Irving, and so but like Las Colinas is a nice area, and Las Colinas, I mean, there's a ton of apartments in and around here, and so I mean, that plays into it certainly as well. But yeah, I mean, Irving's kind of one of those places. So this used to be where the old Dallas Cowboys Stadium used to be, right here. And so, Irving used to be one of the meccas of Dallas, right? And so not so much anymore. Used to have a lot of Cowboy players, live in Irving and everything like that, right? Mainly, Valley Ranch was the old Cowboys headquarters right here. And so, you have a lot of nice homes up here in Las Colinas. You got the Four Seasons Resort right here. And then you've got this whole Mandalay Canal. I show you some of that in the vlog right there. So you've got a ton of apartments in and around here, and you've got that Venetian style, canals going through here. It's a pretty cool vibe. Lake Carrollton, a lot of people running around Lake Carrollton all the time, so very active right there. So that's kind of the vibe of Irving. So it used to be a really cool suburb, and honestly maybe not so much anymore, but obviously a great location, right? So you're easy right here to Dallas. You're right next door to the airport as well, and so from a location standpoint, it doesn't get much better, right? But let's see, Las Colinas, I touched on that. Yeah, lots of business offices as well in Irving. So you're gonna have, you might end up working in Irving. Your office might be in Irving, type of thing as well. Okay, so but let's keep it moving down to Grand Prairie. Okay, so Grand Prairie, let's hit the stats on Grand Prairie. So you got 190 population. So Grand Prairie takes up like all of this. You border Mountain Creek Lake, Joe Pool Lake down here. It comes all the way down here. So it's kind of like a big, it's vertical, very north and south, right? So it's long and skinny, right? So that's kind of Grand Prairie. But you got 190,000 people in here, 160 median home price, so very affordable in Grand Prairie. Price per square foot, $160 a square foot. Median age is 33, so definitely skewing to the younger side. 63% own their homes, so you do have quite a few apartments in Grand Prairie as well. But you're really close to Dallas, right? So you're only 20 minutes away from Dallas, so easy commute into Dallas if you wanted that. The problem is, actually it's not. The schools are generally pretty good. Great schools, rated them. You got a lot of 7s, some below that. So you might just want to, keep an eye on that. But you do have some 9s and 10s in here as well. So that's kind of what Grand Prairie is. So you also have, again, we're close by the lake. And so you're going to have a lot of, a little bit of elevation as well. A little bit of that up and down, the streets that are going a little bit up and down. You've also got Lone Star Park out here. So this is where the horse track is. Let's see if they got a better picture. That's a little better. Yeah, there you go. So you got the horse races out there, if that's your thing. Lockheed Martin has a strong presence out here. So if you're an engineer type of, if you're in that field, you might consider looking out here in Grand Prairie. But Arlington shares, a lot of the same qualities as Grand Prairie as well. So, Arlington, let's get the stats on Arlington. So Arlington's huge. You got 400,000 people in Arlington, median home price of 170, 165 price per square foot. Schools are going to be similar, so lots of 7s. You got a couple of 9s and 10s in there. Great suburb for athletes out here in Arlington as well. So obviously you've got AT&T Stadium where the Cowboys play. You've got the Rangers. You got the Globe Life Field out here. We're super pumped about this retractable roof. Brand new stadium. It's absolutely beautiful on the inside. I got to go for opening day. It was absolutely amazing in there, and it looks like we're splashing the cash this wintertime, this offseason, bringing in some big name players. So excited for that. Seems like people want to come and play in the Texas heat now that we have air conditioning in the stadium. So excited about that. You got Six Flags, of course, right here. So if you love your thrills, yeah, that's the Titan right there. So if you like your roller coasters, then you got Six Flags right there, which is super fun. But median age in Arlington is, get this, 55 years old. So you got some old people in Arlington, right? So Arlington is one of the most diverse, definitely in DFW, if not the country, right? So you've got a little bit of everything in Arlington. So I know, like up in here, especially, this whole Viridian area is pretty nice. You got some new construction going on up here. Yeah, so yeah, just let us know. We got your back. We got your back as always. Let's see. Yeah, they've got a strong aerospace engineering. You got some hubs out here as well. I mentioned Lockheed Martin has a strong presence, so that's kind of what Arlington is all about. Okay, so now let's touch on HEB, Hurst, Euless, and Bedford right here. So population, all combined, 140,000. Median home price of 200,000, so pretty affordable right here. 175 average price per square foot. And the schools, again, are pretty similar to Agtown. So Arlington, we call that Agtown sometimes, and GP, Grand Prairie. Except the high schools don't really score as well. So just keep that in mind. Median age of 38, and so does skew a little bit older. Maybe a little bit of that spillover from the 55 median age in Arlington, right? But 54% of people own their homes. There's a lot of apartments in HEB right here. So, but again, I mean, you're right next door to the airport. So, if you're a frequent traveler, then you might look at one of these areas right here. But let me skip over Colleyville real quick. Let's touch on Southlake, because I know a lot of people want to know about Southlake. So let's get the stats on Southlake. So you got population 30,000. Okay, median home price 675. So it's a higher price point, right? And price per square foot average 270. So again, the second best school district in DFW, and also the second best school district for athletes as well. So they have a hashtag in Southlake called Expect Excellence, and so that's not only in the classroom but also on the athletic field, and it is very real. Okay, I mean, their football team is constantly at least fighting for the state championship, if not winning it, right? The number one quarterback in the draft, or not the draft, in what's it called? High school, where they rank the classes and stuff. Number one guy came out of Southlake a couple years ago. So that's the kind of place Southlake is. Okay, median age of 42, so it is a little bit older, right? Give you a little bit more chance to stockpile a little bit more cash to get out to afford living in Southlake a little bit. But 94% of people own their homes in Southlake. So, it's very, very family friendly, very residential feel. But it does carry a lot of that kind of small town country feel a little bit. But it's a plush small town country feel, right? So this Southlake Town Center, or Town Square right here, you got some really nice shopping in here. Okay, you've got Southlake they call Southlake the bubble, right? So you can get everything that you need in Southlake right here. And then you're only 30 minutes away from downtown. Straight shot down 114, and you're right there. And then really close to the airport as well, right? So that's what Southlake is all about. Keller, Keller is kind of like Southlake's little brother, maybe. Well, not so little, because it's actually bigger than Southlake. Let's get the stats. So you got 45,000 people in Keller. Median home price 380. Just above 200 price per square foot. Ranked the 15th best school district in DFW, and got some great athletics out there as well. Median age of 41, so pretty even right there with Southlake. 82% of residents own their homes in Keller, And yeah, I mean, you are going to get a lot of that spillover from Southlake, right? So obviously you're bordering each other right here. And so, a lot of people from Keller, will go into Southlake quite a bit, right? Because there's a lot to do in Southlake. And so that's kind of the feel in Keller. And then Colleyville is a little bit kind of the same thing. Colleyville is a little bit that older money, I'd say. Let's get the stats. So we got population 25,000. Median home price is a little higher at 515,000, and then price per square foot is 235, right? So a little bit higher there. Seventh best school district in DFW, and great for athletes as well. But the median age is 48, right? So it definitely skews a little bit on the more wise end right there in Colleyville, okay? But 96% of people own their homes in Colleyville right there, okay? So, but yeah, Keller, yeah, Southlake is kind of that main one. Colleyville is, like I said, kind of that old money feel to it, and then Keller is kind of the little brother, if you will, to both of them, so to speak, right here, okay? But then let's talk about Grapevine. So, Grapevine, let's get the stats. So you got population of 50,000, median home price 320, 220 price per square foot right there. And then, so the thing with the schools is, so Grapevine and Colleyville, it's Grapevine Colleyville ISD, right? So I'm not really sure why my boy Levi said that there were no schools in Grapevine, because there definitely are. And, they're the seventh best schools in all of DFW, right? So, hey, Levi wasn't born here, right? He was born like 2 hours away, way south of Fort Worth, right? So if you really want to know Dallas, right, then give me a shout, and you can find our contact in the description down below. But they've got some really good athletics over here in Grapevine as well. The Mustangs, that's what Grapevine High School, you got the Mustangs right there. They're making some deep runs in the football playoffs and everything like that. Median age of 38 in Grapevine. So Grapevine has a cool historic district right here as well, historic downtown. I actually show you that, and I actually went during Grape Fest, which is just a big festival. It's a lot of fun down there, so you can check that out if you want to check out the vlog on Grapevine. But yeah, 53% of people own their homes in Grapevine. You do have a lot of apartments in Grapevine, okay? So, but the homes, when you're in the neighborhoods, it's a very neighborhood feel, family-friendly feel, very safe and everything like that. So, yeah, Grapevine is a great option if you're looking for, something safe and, something obviously really close to the airport. Once again, you've got that. You also have, so you have up here, let's see, it's right in here, Grapevine Mills. Yep, there it is. So Grapevine Mills, that's the big mall out here on this side of town. So if you want to do some shopping, that's probably where you'll go. You also have the Cowboys golf course out here off of 26. Yeah, Cowboys Golf Club. They've got a really cool hole. I think it's the third hole where, yeah, this is it. Oh, you can barely see it. So there's the Cowboy star like down the fairway. It's like a huge drop down. I mean, it's really cool. You got to play it. If you play golf, you got to play that course sometime. Okay. And then you also have the Gaylord out here, which, you'll have a lot of conferences and everything out here. So, if you're you have a lot of business people out here in Grapevine. You're also obviously really close to the lake, right? Grapevine Lake right here. You can get out, if you have a boat or plan on or want to get a boat, and jump out on the lake, just relax for a little bit to get away from everything. So super nice to have that right here as well. And so you're sharing with Coppell over here as well. So Coppell is, let's get the stats on that. So you got a population of 40,000, median home price at $390, and average price per square foot $200 a square foot right there. The third best schools in all of DFW right here in Coppell, and great for athletes as well. You got some really strong athletic programs out of Coppell. And median age is 40, right? So it does skew a little bit older in Coppell. Coppell's pretty established, right? So You've got some really nice streets, tree-lined streets. You've got one of the streets is just a boulevard. You got trees in the middle. You got trees on this side, on that side. You got the brick wall. I mean, you got some of the most beautiful streets in Coppell right here. 72% of residents own their homes, so definitely a place where people are setting some roots. Having their kids go through the great school system in Coppell, and again, you're only 25 minutes away from downtown Dallas right here. You can take 114 or jump over to 35 south and take that. You got a couple options right there, which is nice. But the cool thing about Coppell is, you got some nature preserves out here. You've got some big parks. You got the North Lake Amphitheater out here, right here in North Lake, and you got the Main Street district right there where that's where I start in the vlog right there. You've got Hard 8 Barbecue, one of the best barbecue joints in all of Dallas right here. Okay, so just so you're aware of that, right? But yeah, this whole recreational area, and then the whole north side of Grapevine Lake right here, honestly, does have some good, hiking, and you can go out and do some fishing out there if you want. So obviously super close proximity to all of that. Okay, but let's talk about Flower Mound since we're up here on the north side of Grapevine Lake. So let's hit the stats. You got to populate 75,000 people in Flower Mound. Median home price $360. Price per square foot just above $200 a square foot. 13th best schools in DFW. So technically Flower Mound is a part of Lewisville ISD. And if I'm being completely honest, I would say that Flower Mound High School and Flower Mound Marcus High School probably prop up the rest of Lewisville ISD a little bit. So Flower Mound is a really nice area. Average age of 39. So you've got a crowd that's been there. So Flower Mound went through a period about 10 years ago where it was a super hot suburb. Everybody wanted to move to Flower Mound, right? And so you have that crowd that's been there and is obviously aging through that. But you do have, you've got some people. I mean, I love Flower Mound. You're right there by the lake, right close to the airport. So you do have some younger people who are going out there and taking advantage of that area as well. I mentioned, on that the north side of this lake, you've got a lot of hiking out here, so you can take advantage of that being in Flower Mounds. Other than that, you've got, Flower Mound's a great option. Definitely one to have on the list for sure. And then let's talk about Lewisville as well. So, Lewisville is a little bit bigger, right? So you got 100,000 people in Lewisville. Median home price of $200,000, so it's a little bit more affordable, right? Average price per square foot is $185. Again, 13th ranked school system in DFW. I think carried a little bit by Flower Mound, but you do have some great athletic programs coming out of Lewisville as well. Median age of 32. You got a lot of apartments out there in Lewisville. Yeah, only 42% of residents own their homes in Lewisville. So, it's Lewisville it's a very affordable suburb. Pretty good location if you want to be close to the airport and in between a couple of lakes right here. Obviously, you've got Lewisville Lake right here. But I will say, so over here you see where it says Hebron. So this right here, Castle Hills, is technically Lewisville. So Lewisville kind of stretches over right here and captures some of this. So Castle Hills, if you get a chance to look into Castle Hills, I wouldn't pass that up. Okay, so Castle Hills is a great neighborhood, a great option right there as well. Okay, and so just to be clear, I'm kind of throwing all of these, Highland Village, Copper Canyon, Lantana, Bartonville, Double Oak, Lake Dot. I'm kind of throwing all that into Lewisville as well. Okay, and then let's talk about Argyle. So Argyle let's get the stats on that. So, population, you've only got 5,000 people in Argyle right now. Okay. So very small town feel. Median home price at $470. Okay, price per square foot at $210. You know, you've got a lot of land in Argyle, but you also have some new construction out there as well. So we're seeing a lot of that. School. This is the 6th best school district in all of DFW right here. A lot of people might not expect that, but Argyle's got it going on. You got some great athletic programs out there as well. They always have a strong football team. I remember actually when I was at Green Hill, my little private school 8th grade football team, we went out to Argyle one time, and yeah, we got our asses kicked, but that was fun. And I'll tell you this, I mean, I remember that football stadium. Well, it wasn't even a stadium. I mean, they had like one set of bleachers on, you know, one of the sides, right? And so, but now, I mean, they've really, Argyle High School, they take some real pride in that high school. They've really, you know, developed that and made it into something really cool and state of the art now. And so, yeah, I mean, it's completely different from when I played that 8th grade football game over there, right? So, yeah, median age of 49, so it is a little bit older, right? You know, 89% of people own their homes out here. So, you know, Argyle's that small town country feel out here, you know, but you are seeing a lot of new construction happening out there right now, though. So, you know, that could change over the next decade here out there in Argyle. Okay. Problem is you are kind of far away from downtown Dallas over here. You're really closer on the Fort Worth side. You take 35 West over here, take that down to Fort Worth. Okay, so that's what's going on in Argyle. Let's talk about Denton now. So I know a lot of people want to know about Denton, and you know, hey, listen, the population in Denton is 130,000. A lot of that is the university. So probably 40,000 students between UNT and you got TWU, Texas Women's over here as well. So what is that? I mean, like, is that a quarter? Almost a quarter of the population is college students in Denton. So median home price $220, price per square foot $180. The schools, listen, the more south you are, the better generally. The north doesn't really score as well. Okay, so if you're on the south side of Denton, down in here, you got some good land out here on the south side of Denton as well. So, but yeah, once you get into here, I mean, this is college town kind of in here a little bit. Okay, I mean, you can stay away from it, but it's kind of hard, right? So, just something to consider right there. You know, great athletic programs. You got, you know, Denton Guyer and Denton Ryan have a good football rivalry. They're always making deep runs in the playoffs. You know, those two programs right there. So you got some good football up there. Median age of 28. So obviously that's the youngest that we've seen, right? I think a lot of that has to do with, of course, the colleges that are there. I'd be interested to see the stats, you know, sans the college population right there. That'd be an interesting number to see right there. But yeah, like some of these numbers are misleading a little bit because of the two colleges, but you know, 51% of people own their homes right there. But I mean, outside of the college, I think you might bump that up to more like 70%, somewhere around there, 75 maybe in there. But yeah, in Denton, you're about 45 minutes away from Dallas. I went to school at UNT for a little bit, and I mean, I made the drive. You know, I worked for Red Bull at the time, and our office was right around here. So, I mean, I would make this drive, you know, almost 3 times a week, I'd say. Good thing my gas was paid for back then. I'm not sure I would have done it if it wasn't. But, yeah, so you've got, I mean, once you're in Denton, I mean, you got the lake right here. You know, a lot of the college kids party in Party Cove right here on Lewisville Lake. So, Party Cove is rowdy, so if you ever hear about Party Cove and you're not prepared to get rowdy, then yeah, you might be a party pooper that day. So don't be that guy, okay? So, but yeah, I mean, you got a Buc-ee's out here. You got Medical City right there. Where's the Buc-ee's at? It's up here somewhere. Where is it? Come on, give it to me. Where's that but? Here it is. There's the Buc-ee's. And then where's the Rudy's? Rudy's is out here too. I'll tell you what, the best. Where's Rudy's? It's right here somewhere. No, it's up here. Rudy's is, here it is. Rudy's, the best breakfast tacos you'll ever have. Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that. All right, so let me know if you feel otherwise in the comments if you want. But yeah, Rudy's, you got some great barbecue right there. Okay, so that wraps up Denton. Now let's finish up in Highland Park. Okay, so Highland Park, we got to talk about Highland Park. All right, again, it is its own municipality right here, so it's not, you know, governed by Dallas or anything. It is its own separate thing right here. University Park and Highland Park together create Park Cities, which is its own thing. Of course, you know, population in Park Cities is 35,000. You got a median home price of 1.4 million. Okay, so the starting price is around 650K and goes all the way up to, there's a home on the market right now for 37 million. Okay, so we show that one to you actually in the one of the price point vlogs through Highland Park right there. So check that one out if you want to see that. But average price per square foot, $490, and the best schools in DFW is Highland Park High School and Highland Park ISD right there, and the best for athletes, right? So the Highland Park Scots, right? So if you're, they've always got a good football team, you know, good baseball team. I mean, they've got good tennis as well. I mean, everything. They got some good athletic programs. Pretty much every program they have is very, very strong. So, you know, obviously you got some money here in Highland Park. So, you know, you're getting a lot of that private coaching, you know, on the weekends and in the evenings and stuff like that. So, you know, parents understand the 10,000 hour rule in Highland Park. So, you know, that's kind of the vibe there. But yeah, median age of 41. So it's a little bit older, right? So, I mean, you do have folks who have been in Highland Park forever and, you know, are going to be there until they die type of thing. And so, you know, that plays into it. But I know a lot of people would love to be in Highland Park if they could, right? But obviously the price point is going to dictate whether or not you can get in there, right? So, yeah, 83% of people own their homes in Park Cities right here. And, yeah, you're only 10 minutes away from Dallas, right? So this is arguably the best neighborhood in all of Dallas right here as far as suburbs go. And, you know, technically, like I mentioned, we're kind of in Dallas, but technically it is its own thing right here. So, and then, of course, in Dallas, you've got American Airlines Center right around here in Victory Park. Where is it? Yeah, up here. Yeah, American Airlines Center. So this is where the Mavs and the Stars play. And then you've got that Clyde Warren Park right here that I told you all about. My sister worked on that project. That was a lot of fun. And you've got the Katy Trail that runs through here as well. So, you know, I know I've seen Troy Aikman running on that trail a few times. You know, Katy Trail is, you got a bunch of people using Katy Trail. Let's see if I can find it. It's this green one right here. Yeah, so you start right here just north of American Airlines Center, and then boom, you go. It'll take you all the way up to Mockingbird, or almost Mockingbird up here. Yep, so that's Katy Trail right there. So yeah, very active city right there. And yeah, and then you've got North Park Mall. This is North Park is the best mall in Dallas, bar none. So that's, you know, if you need some really good shopping, that's where you're going to go, okay, is North Park. All right. So, hey, listen, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please tap that like button down below and make sure you're subscribed. Listen, I'm telling you, you don't want to miss that next video. Okay. So tap that bell for notifications so you don't miss out. And I hope that a piece of my brain has now been transferred to yours. You know, I'm sure I skipped over some things, and so if I did, feel free to comment down below. I'm happy to clarify whatever you want, or feel to reach out to me personally if you'd like to converse that way. But yeah, listen, if this is where you want to be, and if you have questions, we're happy to walk you through that process. So give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. jump on our calendar if you want to jump on a Zoom. Of course, that's our favorite, but whatever way is easiest for you, we've got your back on making a smooth move here in Dallas. And yeah, listen, if you don't know where to go from here, you should see some videos popping up on the end screen right now that can definitely point you in the right direction. Of course, we do a ton of different styles of videos on this channel. So, hey, whichever one of these is popping out to you, make sure you click on that next. And hey, until the next video, I'll see you around town.